Hey guys, so I'm going to be talking about gravity. In a later video, you guys will actually see me performing an experiment based on gravity, but until then, I'll give you guys a quick overview on it. Gravity, as a lot of you guys already know, started off with Sir Isaac Newton. It's not that gravity existed just as Sir Isaac Newton discovered it. It existed before, but it was Sir Isaac Newton who actually thought about the first idea as to what keeps everything in orbit and why do things fall to the ground. Now, the story about the apple hitting him in the head, that's not actually a true story. He was sitting in his orchard though when he first discovered it, but the apple actually fell beside him, not on his head. Though it's funnier when you think about it when it falls on his head. So Sir Isaac Newton, first of all, was a professor at Cambridge University back in the 16th century. Around the same time as Shakespeare. He actually died, he was actually born the same year as Galileo died, and Galileo Galilei was actually his idol, his ideal. And a lot of you guys know Galileo Galilei as being the first experimental physicist. He didn't call himself a physicist, he was more of an astronomer. He didn't believe in just theorizing stuff, he believed in actually proving stuff experimentally. So he's more famous for throwing the orange in I think it was 2 balls or something of different size from the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Sir Isaac Newton later went on to be an experimentalist as well. He was also an alchemist. Alchemist is the starting of chemistry. He never made his alchemy public because a lot of people thought that if you did alchemy, you were doing witchcraft, and you probably have heard about the severe consequences of doing witchcraft. Yeah, those were funny times. Okay, so either way, Newton later on used gravity to talk about a lot of his experiments, a lot about his laws actually came out of that. He came up with the original laws of gravitation, later figured out that the reason that the planets orbit around the sun is because the sun has gravity which pulls the planets towards it. But since all of these planets are in free fall, in other words, they're not really spinning around the sun as if you were walking around a friend or something. It's more of the sun is pulling for example, the Earth towards it. But just as the Earth gets close, it's kind of falling. It's not really going into it, it's falling around it. Free fall, I guess if you take a ball and you throw it to the ground without applying any other force to it, it's just one force, the gravity, that's free fall. It's just freely falling to the ground. And that's basically what the Earth does, that's what all the planets do around the sun, that's what the moon does around the Earth, and that's why it's considered an orbit. Because it falls in such a way that it creates a circle or an oval around the Earth. So that's basically how gravity started. Feel when you guys watch my next video, it might make more sense as to how gravity actually works. But I'll explain a bit more about how Galileo actually proved that if you get rid of air resistance, objects will fall at the same rate, which we now know as being 9.8 meters per second squared, which is gravitational acceleration. So with that, I wrap this video up. So I'll see you guys next week, and comment below, subscribe, have fun, bye. Subscribe to me so you guys can see some cool videos doing science and experiments and maybe learning something new. Thanks!